So I need to make a documentary for R250, and I have no idea. I already made one before for this class, and it was okay, but I don't think documentary really is my thing. So I've been thinking which topic I should choose as my subject. But I like making short videos with some cool effects and stories, but documentary seems too dry. Let's see, we'll see. It happens so that Joshua Bell, the violinist, is coming to the U of I campus to play this month, and I already bought the concert ticket. An idea finally came to me that I could interview him for my documentary. Joshua Bell, the violinist, won a Grammy Award for Nicholas Mau's violin controller and gave the world premiere of the work in 1993. He performed the solo part on John Corigliano's Oscar-winning soundtrack for the film The Red Violin and was also featured in Ladies in Lavender. Bell also made an appearance in the movie Music of the Heart, a story about the power of music, with other notable violinists. Bell's instrument is a 300-year-old Stradivarius violin called the Gibson X Huberman, and the violin probably cost a couple of $1 million. So I'm making a documentary for my R250 class, writing with video, and I know that there's a Joshua Bell concert today, and I was wondering if I could interview Joshua Bell after his concert for my documentary.
You need to interview with Joshua Bell?
Yeah,
Do you want me? I can talk to my supervisor about
yeah.
that.
Could you do that?
Sure. All right. It might be too late to set this up. You'd need to call this number.
Okay.
She might be able to help you with that, but I believe she may have left for the day.
Oh, okay.
But Joshua Bell will be signing autographs.
Oh,
I think in the lobby after the
cool.
concert.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, that didn't work out too well. Then I had to think about another idea for the documentary. I hit the wall in my creative thinking process, just like a writer could have his or her own writer's block. I could not move a step farther. I wondered what other artists in general deal with this kind of situation. So I'm making a documentary for one of my classes. I don't know, I cannot come up with really creative idea.
Yeah, so sometimes what happens is I get stuck because I know what's going to happen in this particular scene, let's say, but I don't know how to say it. Like, I know, let's say my main character is going to meet the leaders of, let's say, this one city, like community. I know he's going to meet with them and talk with them about certain issues, but sometimes it's just hard to like sit and write what's exactly going to happen, like describing it. Because sometimes as I'm writing, I'm like, oh, I don't like the way it's being described.
Yeah,
I don't like
yeah.
the way it's. So sometimes what I just have to do is, even though I don't like it, I just have to keep going, keep describing it, writing it, and then come back to it later and rewrite it so it sounds better. Sometimes as I'm writing, I'm forcing myself to do it. Because I have experience, I know there are times when that's when my best writing comes out. I'm writing, and as I'm like writing, I'm like forcing myself. Like after, let's say, a paragraph, I'm like, oh, this is turning out better than I thought, and then I just continue. So there's that too.
Is there any specific limit that you have? Because for me, for this the documentary that I need to make, it's pretty much open-ended. But then there are some rules, like maybe 10 rules that I need to follow, and one of them being like I need to tell like a narrative or my own story, and I need to have a unified purpose. So in like sometimes that limits how I think. At first I had so many ideas, but then now I feel like none of them can meet the standard that I need to satisfy. Do you have any, like, if you have any of that experience, like?
Well, definitely, yes. So fiction writing, which is what I'm doing, has rules about point of view, and I was breaking that rule again and again and again. So I went back through my book and started trying to make certain I kept that rule. But as I was trying to keep that rule, I felt limited because here's what the rule is. In one scene, you can only be in one person's head at a time. For me, that was a limitation because I felt like, oh, why can't I do that?
Yeah.
Like, why can't I do? I feel like now I'm restricted to just this person, and I have to work at making the reader understand what this person's going through as well. Well, it was hard, very hard at first, but it forced me to be more creative actually. So because I couldn't take it the easy way, I had to go a different way, and as a result, actually, it made my writing better. Because when you keep that rule, the reason it's there is it confuses readers. If you can hear everybody's thoughts, after a while you don't know who to identify with. You don't know who's talking at times, and so sometimes rules like that can help you to gain skills that you never would have otherwise. And especially, I know for me, sometimes when I have a limitation, I have all these ideas and none of them fit. Sometimes one of the things you learn how to do is get those ideas that wouldn't fit and kind of tweak it, transform it, and put it so that it can now fit into this new limitation you have. And as a result, actually, it makes better. Yeah.
Is there any, so as you're making your work, have you ever felt any fear when you think about the future when you finish the work? Maybe you might be worried that is this really good enough? Is this really what I intended, and is this really creative enough for me? Like, have you ever had like any fear as you were making a work?
I had a lot of fears because then I realized, wow, this is not what I thought it was. It's a lot more work, and it's a lot more than I ever imagined it would be. And so I definitely thought, am I ever going to get my book done? Am I even going to be able to write it so that's good? Yeah, so I have had those fears. But at the same time, it was good because I think that fear motivated me to be more careful in my writing, not just do whatever and then just get it done, but actually to take my time to make it quality because I don't want it to turn out the way that I wouldn't want it to. So I do have to admit it's there, but I have to be careful not to let it overwhelm